welcome to Radio Graham. With my wife Maureen, we live in a quiet suburban street in Canberra, but we could hear cars arriving. What was happening? A noisy teenage party?
That love and fate and a touch of stupidity would rob them of the hope of living happily. The endings are often a little bit gory. I wonder why they didn't just change their story. We're told we had to do what we're told, but surely sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty. We're told we have to do what we're told, but surely sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty. We're told we have to do what we're told, but surely sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty.
Let me start with our first speaker, Andrew Lee. So Andrew is our federal member for Fraser, soon to be Fenner.
Thank you for that extraordinary musical beginning to tonight's campaign launch. It was just the most magical thing, and to me summed up what's wonderful about Gordon's campaign, that the marrying of so many different worlds. Rarely would I thought that I would be at the launch of a campaign for a former church minister, and he would begin by playing a song which had been composed by one of the best known atheists in the songwriting business. And it sums up the sheer breadth of Gordon. Somebody who loves fine food and is a mean cook, I can attest from first-hand experience. Somebody who's deeply immersed in the arts, who understands that politics isn't simply about policies. It's also about speaking to a deeper strand that sits within us. This is the genius of Paul Keating. Keating, who understood that what we're doing when we're crafting policies can be inspired by the arts. Whether that's spending time in an art gallery, immersing oneself in Wagner or Mahler, indeed looking at the beautiful pictures on the wall or listening to Tim Minchin. It's to understand that politics isn't separate from the human experience. It's a deep, deep part of it. We're here, as Brooke said, because we believe in Gordon. I was reminded, thinking about Gordon's campaign, of one of the stories that kicks off the book, A Little History of the Labor Party. It's an early campaign rally by Billy Hughes in the first decade of the 20th century, that period in which Hughes is still a good Labor man. And Billy Hughes gives a speech to a group of waterside workers. And afterwards, two of them come up. And they say to him, "We've been putting aside a bit of money for ourselves just in case the next job doesn't work out. We reckon we've got about 6 months to live on between us. But we've decided, after listening to you, that the best use of that money is to give it to you now for the Labor Party." And Hughes, the tough man who's used to speaking to waterside workers, turns away from them with tears in his eyes at the notion that these two men have just given him their life savings because they believe in the change that he and the Labor Party can bring.
Thanks very much, Andrew. Can I next introduce Senator Katie Gallagher? Katie has represented the ACT in the Federal Senate since March 2015 and was a member of the ACT Legislative Assembly from 2001 to 2014, of course including being Chief Minister from 2011. She is currently the Shadow Minister for Mental Health and for Housing and Homelessness. Katie always has been and continues to be a strong local voice for our nation's capital. Welcome, Katie.
Thanks very much, Brooke, and Gordon, it's just so lovely to be here tonight to be a part of this event and really be a part of the community spirit that's wrapped around you to support your campaign. I always find it hard to follow musical entertainment, I have to say. When I was Minister for Education, I used to say, can I please start the assembly off, not wait till everyone's enjoying the children performing and the fun and then get the boring politician on. But and even following Andrew is a bit tough. I might have to speak about that to the organisers later. I'm going to out myself tonight, and I haven't discussed this with Gordon, but I've decided to out myself as the faceless woman of the Labor Party that approached Gordon probably just over maybe, I was trying to think on the way here, about 2013, I think, or 14, and asked, I remember the conversation very vividly because I'd sort of prepared myself for Gordon to laugh at me and say, no way, Katie. But he'd come in and I'd said, Gordon, have you ever thought about, a life in the Assembly as a politician? And I was surprised and heartened when he didn't laugh at me and say no way. But we ended up having, a very in-depth conversation about what it's like being in politics, how you can contribute, and of course, with Gordon going down into how you can help others. The conversation moved there pretty quickly. And being Gordon, he didn't give me an answer straight away and went away and did his due diligence, I'm sure coming some very interesting conversations and eventually, indicated that it would be something he would consider. And I was so pleased because part of what I saw working in the Assembly was a couple of things. One, that it makes such a huge difference to people's lives in Canberra. That's, people can ridicule the Assembly or talk about, it's only a council, and we get a fair bit of that from time to time. But at the end of the day, it is the place that people rely on, that we rely on it for our municipal services, for our hospitals, our schools, our justice system, our community services. The Assembly is the place to be if you want to be a part of that. And, it was, to me, very clear that unless we were getting good people into the Assembly, good people to represent the community and good people to represent members of the community that don't have a voice, that life in Canberra could be very different. In a way, because we've had amazing people like John Stanhope and others, we've seen a government that's prepared to push the boundaries, to be progressive, to make sure we're looking after all of us. But it's something, in a sense, that we can't take for granted, and that's where, in my faceless man scheming in the Labor Party, I saw an opening for Gordon. And I made a commitment to Gordon as well that, he would have a lot of support in this campaign. And just driving into this, I nearly rang Tams actually to say, you can't crack a car park around here. How great is that, to come to such an important event and see a house filled like this with people from the Labor Party, but more importantly from people outside of the Labor Party as well, because that's what makes a community. And Gordon, you bring incredible strength to your campaign. Your knowledge of this area, your commitment to social justice, to fairness, to ensuring that those who are doing it tough get an extra helping hand is exactly what Canberra needs in the new Assembly as it's going to be elected in October. And as Andrew said, the Labor Party is very, very lucky to have you as a candidate. The party is not without its faults, and I have these discussions around my family table from time to time. But the only way you make a party better and make a party respond to change and new policy and new ideas is to bring good people into it, and that's what you've brought to us here in the ACT branch. I look forward to working with your campaign and seeing you, really nail it over the next few months. I know you will. And I've noticed the silent auction, the Katie Gallagher wine is not doing so great. It might look a little bit cheap, but can I tell you it's top shelf. So anyone wanting to move over there and make a bid, I am watching. But Gordon, yeah, I'm so privileged to be here, to be sandwiched in between two amazing Labor members in Andrew and John, and to do everything I can to support your candidacy, as I think everybody in this room is prepared to do. So congratulations and all the best.
I'm very honoured that you bought the wine. Thank you.